Well, good afternoon. This is Luke with the Big Sky Investor podcast and YouTube show. I hope you're doing well. It is freaking cold here in Montana. Although I guess I shouldn't be complaining because it's not as cold as some of the states in the polar vortex or whatever they're calling it. But it's like -4 or -6 here, but with the wind chill, it's like -28. So it's a little chilly. Not very fun. Thankfully, some of the snow just melted, so it's not super snowy and super cold. So that's good. Excuse me. So thanks for joining me for the show. Doing a couple episodes this week. Skimped out on last week again. I know. I'm sorry. Slacker. Jeez, Luke. But wanted to do a couple episodes this week for you. Today, I wanted to do a just an update on where things are at in my real estate business. Because I haven't talked about that in a few episodes. It's been more on like mindset stuff, I think. So, wanted to talk about that for a minute or two. So, as I think I've mentioned, I have a assistant. She's been helping me posting ads on Craigslist and Facebook and all these different places. She's been helping with some administrative stuff and sending and doing different things like with our marketing, sending out letters and finding properties, things like that. She's been awesome. And we've just been refining some of the processes because I didn't have everything totally refined like I wanted to, but I needed somebody to help just because I was getting to the point where the consistency that needed to be there, and it wasn't. Like the stuff needed to happen on a consistent basis, but it wasn't. And it was just from a health perspective, I just wasn't able to keep up with what needed to happen and focus on my health. So I had to really evaluate, do I need to focus on my health as a primary focus, or do I need to focus on my business as the primary focus? And the conclusion I came to is I needed to go back to, well, I mean, I guess I didn't really divert too far, but I needed to stick with this plan of focusing on my health primarily and continuing to recover from this head injury relapses, I should say, and continuing to get better and better my health so I can then better my business. Because if I'm not healthy, then the businesses just don't happen. So I need to be healthy for those things to continue to get better, because everything in my life gets better when I'm healthy. So the health needs to be the first focus. And then there were some things that I really didn't need to be doing that I could get somebody to do for me, and to start building my team. So that's what I did. So, and she's been very gracious and very patient with me, because I tend to be a bit scatterbrained. But she's been able to take the core of what I needed her to do and build upon that, which has been great. And she's even helped with making some of the processes I had more efficient, which has most recently was actually her husband was taking a look at some things, and they were talking, and they came up with some ideas on how to make things efficient, and they just cut probably like 5 hours a week of work. And it took them like an hour to implement this change. So I was super stoked about that. Anyway, so that's going on. We just tried a new thing, and she posted an ad on Facebook Marketplace. So we used her profile, posted on Facebook and Marketplace, and it was an ad copy I had written directed at tired landlords. And it was funny because the first like 3 or 4 comments that were on this ad, or this posting, because you post it to the marketplace and then it goes to all the other groups you're a part of, or you can select groups that it goes to. And in this one group in particular, people were like, scammer, these people, this gal is scamming us all, and blah 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 blah, and just like digging into the ad and into her, and she's being very gracious on there, like, no, I'm working for Luke, and this is what he's trying to accomplish, and this is what we're about. And they're like, oh, that's just what a scammer would say. And I mean, saying all these negative things. And she's like, Luke, can you step in? Like, I don't really know what to say. And I looked, and I mean, she had done everything without even asking that I would have done. And really, there was no more she could have said. It needed to come from me. And so I stepped in, and I was like, hey, she said that she worked for me. She does work for me. And we're not scammers. This is what we're trying to do. I'm an investor in the community, blah, 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 blah. And like everyone just like shut up, like comments just stopped. And then some of my investor friends started coming on there. They saw the ad and were like, Luke's the real deal. Luke's awesome. Like this gal's legit. Like, so that was super cool. And then I started getting noticed. Some people who in the community and real estate who I hadn't connected yet started seeing it and started asking questions, both in comments and then also through private messenger, and started like connecting with me. So it didn't do exactly how I wanted or exactly what I had planned on, but at the same time, it still got results. Out of that, we have gotten several leads. One of which or a couple of which actually I've put in offers on already. It's only been a couple of days, but I've already put offers in, and a couple others that I'm crafting offers for, just waiting on some more information. And then one of them was actually somebody thought it was for a property management company, because and I think part of where that came from is one of the people that was calling us a scammer was claiming that we were affiliated with a well-known property management company in town, and that it was a scam because we were trying to entice landlords to increase their rent and use this certain property management company and increase rents. And obviously this person had dealt with this property management company and felt that that's what happened to them. That person was not someone I was targeting because they obviously do not own property and they're a renter, and they obviously don't understand that rents have to go up at some point. So I don't know how rents going up is a scam, but whatever. It's actually, in the investor world, it can be a value add. So one of the properties I'm pursuing is a pretty big complex. It's like 30 units or something. Yeah, I can't remember the exact number. I'm actually not supposed to say the exact number right now, but I can tell you it's over 30 units, and it's actually an out-of-state property. And one of the value adds is that it is not at market rent, and it needs to be, because it's in an area where it has a lot of low income. But there's a need for a little bit higher quality of rental, and this building fits the bill. It needs to be improved a little bit. So anyway, we're making an offer and hopefully get that. We're just waiting on some details on that, but that's super cool. So anyway, so that was kind of cool to have that come off of an ad, even though it seemed like it was negative at the beginning, but ended up being super positive. So looking at the apartment complex, looking at another property that has multiple multifamily properties on it. I think there's a total of 8 units on it, something like that. 8 or 10 units, I can't remember. Another multifamily property, and then some single family. And then there was another one that's a commercial property with like an apartment. So anyway, so ended up getting like quite a few things from that Facebook ad, and also a couple of those came from Craigslist ads. So that was pretty cool to get some response on that. That was pretty exciting. So anyway, so that's kind of what's going on right now. I after my last son was born back in December, I focused on the family and did not put a lot of effort into generating new leads. And unfortunately, my pipeline dried up very quickly. And that was a good lesson for me to learn, because over the last month and a half, I've had 0 leads to go on. I mean, I've been following up on like a couple of deals that didn't really go anywhere. trying to see if I could reignite them. But it's because I had no leads, because I stopped for a couple of weeks trying to get leads, and poof, those leads went bye-bye. And my pipeline was empty. So the last month, the whole month of January, I spent rebuilding a pipeline, and I knew it was going to take time, and we're just now starting to see some of those leads coming in from the last month of work. So it takes time. So that was a very good lesson for me to learn. Anyway, so I'm excited to get that filled back up again. I've got some more people who are interested in lending, which is cool, being private money lenders. That's how I'm looking to take down these deals, is using money from individuals that I know or that I meet and build a relationship with, who want to earn a return on their money. And I just do one person per deal. I don't want to get into any complications, and I don't want to make the SEC mad or anything like that. I want to be as compliant as possible. So anyway, so that's looking at doing that, and that's looking like that, or that's going well. I've got a few people that I'm just like building a relationship with, and seeing if this is going to be a good venture for us to be on in the future. And got a couple people that it looks like it is, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so I guess that's kind of what's going on in the real estate realm right now, in the real estate business. So that's kind of the update. Just rebuilding the pipeline, building systems with my assistant, and making offers. It's basically what it all is. So that's what's going on right now. The plan is to I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, I had something specific I was going to say, and I can't remember it. But anyway, yeah, that's the plan, is continuing to build the pipeline and get more leads coming in, both for deals and for people who want to invest and secure it with real estate. But yeah, it's been good. So got a couple of buyers. I don't wholesale. Like I'm not a wholesaler, but if I've come across a deal and I pursue it and it ends up not fitting my criteria, but I've gotten it under contract, I'll wholesale the contract. I don't have a problem doing that. I've gotten a couple of buyers that I can fall back to if for some reason a particular project ends up not fitting my criteria, so I can wholesale the contract. So that's good too. So might actually have one of those that might end up going that way on a single family. That might not be one that I end up wanting to acquire in the end. I mean, right now I do, but it might turn to where it might be better to just wholesale the contract to a different investor who has a different focus. So anyway, so we'll see, but that's the update for now. And I'll keep you posted on all that, and we'll see what comes of it. I'm pretty excited, especially on the bigger complexes, on the 10 unit or whatever it is, or 8 unit, and then on the 30 plus unit. That one I'm super stoked about, just the area it's in, and they're super. So I guess on that one, I can't go into much detail on it, but I'm super excited because there's the value that could be brought to the community with a building of that size, and with a value add of it needs to be up to market rent. It has kind of a high vacancy right now, due to they redid some units and they haven't had those units up for rent, but it still doesn't look good on paper because it's at like a 30, I don't remember what it was, 30%, 40%. I don't remember. Anyway, it's got a pretty high vacancy rate. And so I'm excited to check that out and get that improved, as well as market rent increase, do some like cosmetic improvements to the property. And what was the other one? Oh, and there's some work that can be done on lowering the expenses on the property. So there's some expenses that don't need to be the responsibility of the landlord, or don't really need to be there. So lowering that, and basically all in all, it looks like with those three strategies, it would increase the monthly cash flow tenfold, and also increase the property value. It's roughly looking like by 100% of what 100%. So it could be worth a couple of years from now, once we get the numbers fixed and have them fixed for a year or two. Could be 2 or 3 years from now, we could sell it for twice what we paid for it. So that's kind of what we're looking at. So I'm kind of excited about that one. So that's probably all I probably should say, because I don't want to get into hot water on that one. But that one's pretty cool, and we'll see what happens with that. I'm just super excited to be able to provide value to a building, to the tenants, and to a whole community. I mean, it sounds like it could be a benefit to a whole community, which is exciting. So anyway, so that's that. I'll leave it at that for now. And I will talk to you on the next episode.